Go. Hello, and welcome to another session of the Mastermind Book Club. In this session, we are reviewing a very powerful audiobook by Rudolf Steiner called The Power of Nutrition. I am CEO David Diaz. To my right is Reggie Hilliard. To my left, Charles Culmer and Marth Johnson. I'd like to call on Reggie Hilliard to give his first impressions on this audio.
Hello, hi everyone. I'm here, Reggie Hilliard, to talk about this book about nutrition from Rudolf Steiner. What I'll touch on is, well, it kind of goes back to a previous book we had read about, which talked about the diet of a vegetarian diet being like the sort of best diet. But on top of that, what this book actually spoke to and touched on is the fact that even as that might be the case or could be the case, the overarching thing that really matters is how you assimilate that diet or how you incorporate that diet into your lifestyle, which has to do with how your mental and your spiritual works with that. Because even as you may be eating better, if you don't have a program that integrates that diet into your lifestyle such that you're living a more holistic, spiritual, elevated way, that may not always work out as best as you can, as best as you think. And maybe if you were on another type of diet, maybe say like a meat eating diet, that might be a more benefit to you because it really comes down to how you're living overall, right? So if you can incorporate more consciousness into your lifestyle with how you think, how you act, how you behave, and all of that collectively, and then also eat better, then you can then benefit in a greater way. So that's something I liked that the book touched on, and it really kind of resonated with me because it is the way in which I live, which is to incorporate more of like a vegetarian-based lifestyle and also high-level consciousness. And I've seen it play out in a very fruitful way. So that's like a fruit, and that's vegetables, that's like vegetarian. But fruitful is a good thing. When you have a fruitful life, that means you're having a life that is producing fruit in a good way. All right, that's what I have.
Beautifully said, Reggie, in a fruitful way. It is not far from the truth. I believe in it. Now I'd like to call on Marth Johnson to give her a brief summary. Go ahead, Martha.
Hello, everyone. I'm so glad to be here. This is a very powerful book, and it was for 1924. And all the information this book have is amazing. And a lot of people they don't believe or not practice, but this is a real book. And the information we have to pay attention to the information because it's very true. The food, how the food affect what consciousness, and this food is a bridge between our body, our soul, and spirit. And the food carries life forces. A natural food, a natural growth, is affects our body in good way. And the food with processed food and chemical food affects our body in bad way. Um, I want to leave it like that because I don't want to get in touch with health and things like that because I'm not a doctor. But how foods grow is very important. And the soil, a healthy soil, produce healthy plants, and healthy plants produce healthy human, healthy body. That's very important. The soil where we grow with food is very powerful because it's going to be consumptions in our body and going to affect the body in good way and bad way. The nutrition affects well consciousness and the clarity, emotion stable, and willpower. And the individuals matter because depends on this as a child, as an adult, or elderly. They need different nutrition. The nutrition needed is going to be different, and this is the belief, the gratitude, and the awareness. When you give it gratitude, the food when it functions, helping you to assimilate better your food. So he believed they will have to The nutrition is awareness, is helping develop our body, and our soul, and it has to be consocial in harmony. That's what his philosophy this guy have, and I believe it's very powerful. It's very true. And I leave it like that. I send it to the next master.
Martha Johnson, thank you. Thank you for that brief summary and then extended. That's very, very insightful. Thank you very much for giving us powerful information. Now I'd like to call on Jazz Culmer.
Good day, good evening, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Mastermind Book Club. As I said many times before, you're not what you see in the mirror. You're mind, body, soul, and spirit. So food has a natural occurrence. If we look back in one of my favorite books, which starts in Genesis, food wasn't really a thing that they needed. Food came later. Like they had all the trees. It talks about the trees in the garden. It was perfect. It was the Eden. You know, we have that right now at our disposal. The book even, I mean, the book talks about the everything passes on. You know, like from the mother, she passes the child, and from the mother, she also passes the nutrients to the child via the milk. The food basically that we're eating today, if we eat that in excess, I don't believe it's the best thing that we have. So I'm gonna come a little different. I'm gonna say that maybe we should eliminating eating too much food. Maybe we should look more to fasting, praying, even praying over your food, where you take the food to an alchemy state where you're praying over it. You're telling your body to transcend the food. I believe that we're closer to our spiritual existence than we think, and the food is just one area that keeps us more natural than spiritual. And I'm gonna stop there.
Thank you. And that is true that food keeps us more natural than spiritual. So I really appreciate
Yes,
that.
like we were just before we talking about fasting and meditation and prayer, and I believe these things could cure many of the ailments that we have today, and I believe that many of the processed foods and sugars and oils and salts are literally aging us right before our eyes.
So I have a different way of looking at this book, because this book offers a lot of information that is even shocking to me. I mean, just to mention off the bat, it mentions about hydrocephalia, and I was like, what? No way. And most of us know about microcephalia, which is a smaller brain or smaller head, but hydrocephalia is when you have a bigger head, and it's usually
water in the head.
excess of water, excess of the wrong things in your head. And one of the points that Rudolf Steiner points to, is that it's probably related to excessive drinking, either before, during intercourse, on the creation of the this embryo or and such. And I'm just giving you one detail, but the reality is, whatever you have in agriculture, there are many ways to look at it. You can have 5% chemicals in there, you can have 1% chemicals in there, or you can have 0.02% chemicals in there. That's one. Two is the digestive system, the same thing. You can go get a cheese from a place like Whole Foods, you can get it from your regular supermarket, you can get it from a deli, and they are putting a different chemical into your body, because if you're going to get one that's grass-fed versus one that's a bit USDA organic, which is about 5% chemically induced, or one that's totally processed from a smaller store, they're going to do different things to your body. And then obviously, food does matter, just as you know, Reggie, Martha, and Charles were saying. We're not all going to have the same methods. We're not going to have all the same types of cooking styles. We're not going to all have the same source for food. As a matter of fact, when you go outside, and if you live in one of the major cities, you probably live within close proximity to fast food place like a Chinese restaurant or a Latin or African restaurant that serves fast food, you know, and that we think it's awesome, but unfortunately, you have to question that. So Rudolf Steiner offers so much more than what I'm just giving them these 3 points, but I want to give the other mastermind members a chance here to say, is there any way that you're going to use one of the information that Rudolf Steiner implies in this audio book? So Reggie, I mean, I don't want to, hopefully you have at least one thing you can say, which is best.
I'm gonna not encapsulate, I'm gonna take some of what was said and kind of just rephrase it or rephrase it or whatever. I'll just speak to it a little more to that. So yeah, like Charles was saying, what he believed, and I mean, I would say more than belief because I live it. You know, that fact of like the things that he said that could cure us or help us to be better and live better and that type of thing as it pertains to the food and or not eating as much because I live it. And the best thing I've ever done. So as you say, what can we do? Is one of the best feelings by far, infinitely by far, nothing has come close is me doing a 7-day water fast. As I spoke to already, and I said, like, you know, maybe if it was before the call, I said I felt like I was bought from a store and taken out of a package. And even they've done studies, and we don't need scientists to do studies, but you know, you'll hear like the scientists did a study and they fed the rats less food and they live 15% longer. So it's clear, the less you eat, the less your body's having to work, the more you're giving your body a chance to just be at rest and to regenerate and things like that. So you're going to live longer. The other thing I can say is um, the highest level diet or live it is one where you're actually not eating. There are people who actually don't eat. They're called breatharians. And all they do, if you look at the food chain or the food pyramid, which is crap the way that they set it up, that's complete garbage. It's really the highest order, the highest level of food is sun and breath up here. Then it comes down to you start getting into like water and fruit and vegetables and legumes, yada yada, all the way on down to the meats and all that kind of stuff. So the highest level is actually you just taking in sun and air and then water after that and so on and so forth. So if you were able to subsist on that, which you can, you will live significantly longer. And it's the lie that they tell you that you need all these meals, but the less I eat, the more alive I feel. But we don't notice, so a lot of us don't do it. But I'm sharing it and I'm full of life and I'm talking to people, I'm around people, I'm feeling younger and younger, I'm reversing in age, and people, they still not getting it because they know eat 3 meals a day. But then I look at them and they're sluggish and they're saying, I need my coffee and I need this, and I don't drink any of that. And I get up 2 or 3 a.m. I'm doing 2, 3, 400 push-ups. I'm doing this, I'm doing that. I'm stretching. I'm coming into work well before everyone. And they're still coming in behind and they're 20 and 30 plus years younger, whatever, which is not real, but they subscribe to age is another thing. So that's another conversation. But in any case, so that's what I'll give. The less you eat, the better you're going to be.
The less you eat, the better you're going to be. And, you know, it's easier said than done. And that's just the reality. Martha, do you have any takeaway from?
Yeah, I believe the foundation of bioagriculture, the farmers used to work with the nature. That way to make it good soil, because to get a good soil, we get a better food. So this is important. They work with the agriculture, all the farms, to make sure we get quality food. That way our body is going to be quality of better health for us. So nobody think about the soil, but the soil where we grow our vegetables and fruit is very important for us, and for animals too, because they eat that. If the animals eat good food, we're gonna get a good products, meat for these consumptions, and the and plants too. So it's like a cycle, you know. Good soil making good food, and good food making healthy body or healthy human beings and healthy animals too.
Wow, very good. Thank you. Thank you, Martha. Chaz, Culmer, any takeaways?
Yes, just as Reg and I were saying, and Martha, if you eliminate excess food, uh, like I believe that there is a serious connection between the physical and the spiritual world in which we live in, and that uh, the food that we take in is not the same food that our great grandparents were eating. That food was, like Martha was saying, it was less uh, what was the word? It was less defined. It was less processed. It was more natural. So you, you have to eliminate, I guess. We all know how to eat a proper diet. We all know we should get more vegetables, more fruits, cut back down on meat, starches. We also know that we should be praying every day. We should be meditating. We should be disciplined in our lives. And it's hard to do, as you were even talking about, David, when you have fast food such as McDonald's, Burger King, KFC, and even culture fast food restaurants where you can go out and get this food, and this food is not doing anything for you physically, nor is it doing anything for you spiritually. In my favorite book again, in chapter in Matthew 17, it talks about I would have been able to do more things uh, as far as health, as far as the spirit, but those things only came about through what? Prayer, meditation, and fasting. So our spiritual books tell us the way to go. It's up to us to live the life that we need to live. Just like this book was saying, everything is passed on. Even us, we pass on things to our children. We pass on things to our friends. We're passing on things to you right now. We're passing on information. So I guess to come full circle, the way I would use this is to be conscious of the what is it, the high fructose syrup in drinks, and I'm just picking on that. Um, to eliminate, I guess, different chemicals, the red dyes, the yellow dyes, and try to really seek a more natural way of existing. And when your body's more healthy and more in tune, then you can also be more spiritually and healthy and in tune with God.
All right, Chaz. Now, I've done at least 4 different types of diets, probably 5. One of them is, this is going backwards. I did the all meat diet back, I don't know, 30 years ago, 20 years ago. Then I tried the vegan diet, which is just basically eating greens. Then I tried the pescatarian diet, and they all seem to have a benefit. And just as Rudolf Steiner says here, the thing is that even if you go all green, the body knows how to create protein from all green. Even if you go all protein, the body knows how to create what it needs to access to the other uh, um, parts of the body. So I've gone keto, and keto is so far is a little bit better. However, in the end, there's nothing like fasting. There's nothing like meditating. There's nothing like having a body, soul, and spirit connection with the food that you eat. So, gentlemen, I do want to appreciate each and every one of you being here tonight.
And lady.
And then lady, yes, I do want to appreciate each and every one of you being here tonight.